Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Dave and Johnny Live. I am Dave. He is Johnny. Hey, Johnny.
What's up?
Well, you know, it's Dave and Johnny Live. We're back. It's another Friday. We're here every Friday at 12:45. It's 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to talk about the history of WWE Backlash. It's Backlash weekend. We are going to talk about Backlash that was. And, you know, in researching this show here, Johnny North, some interesting Backlash facts jumped out at me.
Such as?
Backlash began as an In Your House in 1999, April 25th, in Providence, Rhode Island. It was Backlash.
But we didn't count it as in your house.
What?
We didn't count it as in your house, remember? Because
That's right.
By the time Backlash happened, it wasn't in your house.
That's right. Last week we did the top 10 In Your House matches because it was In Your House weekend. I guess we could talk about our thoughts on In Your House too, Johnny, here on the show. But this week we're going to do top 10 Backlash matches, and we didn't count that show as an In Your House. We are counting it as a Backlash, though. I don't know if I have any of those matches from the 1999 Backlash on my list, but it does count as Backlash. So it started in 1999. It continued until 2009, 10 years of Backlash. And then they stopped in 2010. From 2010 to 2016, there was no Backlash, right? Several years, Saw's Backlash. And then it returned in 2017. They had another Backlash show in 2018. But in 2019, there was no Backlash. And now this weekend, once again, there is a Backlash.
We had, I think, Stomping Grounds last year instead. They canceled Backlash for Stomping Grounds because for some reason they think they have to always change up their names. People want new names. That's why we lost Backlash after 2009. They thought, oh, the names aren't cool. It's not drawing. We need to, Over the Limit instead.
Or as John Laurinaitis called it, the Over Limit. Right?
Pretty much.
So Backlash, right? Backlash is coming up this weekend. It is back. For some reason, they ditched it last year. It's had a strange history, and we're going to look back on the history of Backlash. Backlash is the event where in 2006, in Lexington, Kentucky, Shane and Vince McMahon defeated the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and God in a match. That actually happened. That was at a Backlash 2006. And of course, when I think about Backlash, I think about Joey Styles and his Backlash promo, right? Do you not think about that promo,
I thought
John?
so. I think of it because you always bring it up, so yes.
And now,
Let's
thanks
hear
to
it.
the magic of live television, I'm going to show the whole world why for 7 years in ECW, I was the unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Now, this is from May 2006, and Joey Styles goes off on the WWE.
WWE called me. I didn't call this company because I was looking for a job. I didn't need a job. WWE called me because they had humiliated and fired again Jim Ross.
That's a trend, right? 2006.
Yep,
So I get
unfortunately.
JR's spot. And from week one, week after week, I've got an ongoing lecture about the differences in professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm not allowed to say
booing.
pro
Why?
wrestling. I'm not allowed to say wrestler.
He's a heel.
I have to say sports entertainment and refer to the wrestlers as superstars. I'm told to deliberately ignore the moves and the holds during the matches so I can tell stories.
That's a shoot, by the way. That's real. That was
Yeah, I know.
This is all a shoot. This is a classic promo and it just illustrates the history of Backlash. And I want to take you back in time a little bit in the history of pro wrestling.
Well, ignoring the moves and the holds is damn insulting to the athletes, the wrestlers, not the entertainers, who leave their families.
Thank you for the cheers.
Right? Now they're with
Yeah,
him.
finally.
They're booing him at first. I was like with him the whole time.
300 days a year to ply their craft in that ring. So here's the best part. Because I'm not a sports entertainment storyteller, I get pulled from WrestleMania. And the reason I'm given is because I don't sound like Jim Ross, who's the guy they fired in the first place. That makes sense, right?
Classic
So
WWE.
I swallow the bitter pill. I'm a company guy. I get bumped from WrestleMania. Then I get bumped from Backlash. I'm not good enough to call Backlash. In ECW, I called live pay-per-views on my own. Solo. No color commentators dragging me down. Wasn't done before me. Hasn't been done since.
Now they're with him. Fully with
But
him.
I'm not good enough to call Backlash because I'm not a sports entertainment storyteller. Well, you know what? I am sick of sports entertainment. And most of all, I'm sick of you fans who actually buy into that crap. This sports entertainment circus.
There you go. Bring him in, Joey Styles.
I
guess.
never needed this job, and I don't want this job anymore. I quit.
Not good enough to call Backlash. I remember at the time it totally buried the event. It was like, yeah, Backlash is kind of like, WrestleMania backwash. It's just the remnants of Mania. That's what it used to be, right? Backlash, and we're going to get to our top 10, but most of these events used to take place in late April, early May. This was a WrestleMania Backlash, right? That's what it was billed as. It was, whatever happened at Mania, this is the backlash from that, and you're going to see rematches from WrestleMania, basically. But this time, Backlash is in June, which is not traditional at all.
Well, no,
Backlash.
but I guess they ran out of names, so they just went with something that they thought would work. People would be attracted to it because there's a history with Backlash, right? So, and I thought Backlash is because they never had a pay-per-view for WrestleMania Revenge Tour. They used to have those matches after WrestleMania, but there was no pay-per-view. So I thought Backlash was kind of fitting for that. You finally got to have that WrestleMania Revenge Tour in a pay-per-view. You just called it Backlash. I thought the name was good for it. And for the first couple of years, I thought it was like, wow, this is actually pretty good because some of those rematches or variations of matches, some of them were better than the WrestleMania matches.
Yep. Backlash has been a solid pay-per-view. We've had some really good matches in the history of Backlash, and I want to get to it right now. Johnny North, you are the historian here, mostly because your memory is better than mine. Like, you have a tremendous memory for dates and matches and specific things that happen and spots. You're very good at that type of thing. Whenever I want to, which WrestleMania was this, which year was this, you're always there with the facts. So I want to start with your Backlash. I did research. I remembered, there's certain matches that I remembered. There's certain matches that I went back and watched. I wasn't able, unfortunately, to watch every single Backlash in the lead up to this show because that's a lot of Backlash. But I watched some matches here or there to kind of refresh my memory. But Johnny North, I want to start with your list because I trust your list more than mine at this point. I looked through all the Backlashes. It's a lot of shows, man. It's a lot of different Backlash events. It was hard for me to narrow it down. I had like 20 matches, and I was like, all right, I guess I got to narrow it down to 10. But I don't know about you. I had trouble making a top 10 Backlash list.
Oh, honestly, like 10 wasn't hard at all because I thought there was actually a lot of good matches from Backlash. It's just once I got to 2006, after that, it kind of went downhill where it's like, well, this isn't that great. if you're a John Cena fan, like, he didn't make my list whatsoever, so you're probably not going to like my list. Like, I didn't think he had bad matches, but they weren't on the top 10 whatsoever. There were some very good matches in the early backlashes.
Yep, there were. Let's get to your list. I will tell you that John Cena is definitely on my list. I think he's top 5. All right? He's got a top 5 match on my list, so get ready for it. But let's start off your number 10 match, Big Johnny North. Let's see what you came up with. Last week when we did this top 10 for In Your House matches, we had a lot of the same matches. I feel like this week we won't have as many of the same, and I think they'll be in different orders for sure. So let's see what you got, Big Johnny. Number 10.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be different. I think we've actually watched some backlashes together, but not the early ones. I remember that. And the early ones, to me, they meant the most, because I just remember those being like, wow, they blew me away back then, because you saw matches that you didn't think you were going to see when you saw them. And that's why number 10 has to be the last return of Hulkamania, Hogan versus Triple H, Backlash. I think it was Backlash 2002. That's number 10 for me.
Yeah, that was on my bubble list. It didn't make my top 10. April 21st, 2002, right. Kansas City. Hollywood Hogan beating Triple H for the WWF Undisputed title at the time. It was a big match. It was very important. But as far as match quality,
I thought it was still solid, especially for what Hogan could do at the time. And Triple H, I thought, did really well making Hogan look great, in my opinion.
Yes.
And the fact that we saw that title change, too, at the time, it was amazing, because you weren't expecting that. Triple H just won the title. For Hogan to win it at all, amazing. Great surprise.
Yeah, that was a big, shocking moment, and that was kind of the revamp of Hulkamania in the WWE back then. What do you got in number 9?
Well, and also, too, by the way, that was Hogan's last WWE Championship win. So, again, that's what helped a lot with that. Number 9, again, not the greatest match, but for the moment. This is a lot to me like Vince and Austin, except this is Backlash. Different opponents, too. This is Shane McMahon versus Big Show. Backlash 2001, Last Man Standing. If you remember, Shane did that crazy dive up top of the stage. His craziest dive to date, for sure.
Yeah, Shane McMahon beat Big Show in that match. It went 11 minutes, 55 seconds. Backlash 2001 in Chicago, Illinois at the Allstate Arena. That was a big Backlash. Backlash 2001 was very good. That match did not make my list, but another match on that card, I think a couple matches on that card did make my list, because that pay-per-view was very good. Very good stuff. Backlash 2001. Number 8.
Well, for me, it's Backlash 2001 or Backlash 2000. I thought both were very solid backlashes. So number 8 is a match maybe not a lot of people know about, but I think it's their best match ever in WWE, WWF history. Dean Malenko, Scotty 2 Hotty.
Wow. I did not expect Scotty 2 Hotty to make the list. This is what, Backlash 2001, you say? 2000?
Backlash 2000, WWF Light Heavyweight title match.
Whoa. Washington, D.C., Backlash 2000. It was the second match on the card. Dean Malenko defended the WWF Light Heavyweight title. 12 minutes, 57 seconds. I got to go back and watch that, Johnny. I don't really recall that match. You're saying it was Malenko and Scotty 2 Hotty's best match in WWE?
Well, unfortunately for Dean Malenko, I don't think he really got to have great matches on pay-per-view or really got to showcase himself. He was in a lot of tag matches. This match, he finally got to showcase himself and his cruiserweight style.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this match was his best match and Scotty 2 Hotty's best match. It's a fantastic match that really goes under the radar for a lot of people.
Well, it went under the radar for me. I'm a big Dean Malenko fan. I was a huge fan back in the late 90s when he was in WCW, but it kind of dropped off when he got to the WWE. I'm going to go back and watch this, John. All right? I'm making a note. I'm going to go back and watch Malenko and Scotty 2 Hotty. All right, that was your number, what, 8?
That's right.
Give me 7.
Number 7, I think you probably have this on the list too. It's Chris Benoit versus Edge, Last Man Standing, Backlash 2005.
Yep. Hard to Hard to beat that. Tremendous match. I don't know if I put it on my... Did I put it on my top 10? Chris Benoit definitely made the... Yeah, it's in my top 10. You had it at what, 7?
Yes.
Backlash 2005? I have it at 8. So, pretty close.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
bad.
it was a tremendous match. Anytime Edge and Chris Benoit got in there, so good. I remember a house show at the Bell Center. It must have been around that time when Edge was the champion, and they did a battle royal to start the show. This is a house show, and Randy Orton was in the battle royal, and Great Khali was in the battle royal. And I thought, well, those guys are probably going to win, not Chris Benoit. But Benoit wound up winning, and the winner of the Battle Royal faced the champion for the title in the main event. So not only did I get to see Chris Benoit win a Battle Royal that didn't seem like he was going to win, but then I got to see him and Edge tear the house down in the main event for the title. And that was awesome. Anytime Benoit and Edge got in there, they had really good chemistry. They were very good.
The level of intensity in their matches was outstanding. Just really good. And the fact that they were kind of like bottom of the card with this match too as well. And the fact that it stood out so well just goes to show you how good they were.
I'm seeing Franco316 on the chat asking why they didn't mute Joey Styles' mic. They didn't mute his mic because that was a promo. It was meant to happen. You know, it was a worked shoot, as they say. You know, he was allowed to say what he wanted, and that was it. He didn't go too far. FizzGig says, love you guys. Thank you, FizzGig. Love you right back. Bob Cote on the chat. Shout out to Bob. Shout out to Ricky Bortolomeo, who wants to know where AJ is. AJ's only on the MMA parts of the Ringside Report Network. If you want to watch Ringside Report MMA, check out last night's show on the YouTube channel. We had Charles Jourdain on. Charles joined us live last night from his hotel room in Las Vegas. He is fighting tomorrow night in the UFC. He weighed in this morning, and he's got a fight tomorrow, and he joined us last night to talk about his fight against Andre Fili coming up this Saturday in Vegas. So it was good stuff last night with Charles Air Jourdain. Go check it out, ringsidereport.net, or right here on this YouTube channel. That's where AJ is. AJ's doing the MMA thing. We're doing the pro wrestling thing. Johnny North, you were at 7. Let's see your 6. What do you got?
Number 6 was Backlash 2006 with the Money in the Bank briefcase and the Intercontinental title on the line. RVD versus Shelton Benjamin.
Ooh, that's good stuff right there. Who won that match?
RVD won the match, but it was just a great back and forth match. As you could imagine, just these guys in their prime right here, amazing athletes going back and forth. Didn't hold too much back. It was really good, as you could imagine.
This is Prime RVD, right? 2006. That Money in the Bank, he wound up cashing in a couple months later in June in that infamous match against John Cena at the ECW One Night Stand show. That was a big time for Rob Van Dam. Imagine if they had decided, well, let's give the Money in the Bank to Shelton, pal. I mean, that would have been weird, right? They were relaunching ECW at that time. RVD became the ECW and WWE champion simultaneously with that Money in the Bank a couple months later. So big time for Rob Van Dam, 2006, right? I think that was the peak RVD in WWE at least.
Yeah, it went up and then it went straight down very quickly afterwards in that summertime, unfortunately. But yeah, that was good for a while, for a little bit of time.
Him and Sabu got arrested in a car with weed and cocaine. Not good. And that pretty much ended his run. They stripped him of the belts, and that was that. Number 6 was RVD and Shelton Benjamin. Number 5, Johnny North. What do you got?
Number 5, again, probably a match also on your list, I imagine. One of the best matches, I think, in Backlash history. Benoit, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. It's the rematch from WrestleMania, but now at Backlash. And it was in Edmonton.
Yes, very good match. April 18th, 2004 in Edmonton. Benoit had just defeated Shawn Michaels and Triple H in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, and you thought, WWE's pretty evil. I could see them taking it all away from Benoit here. Benoit's not really going to beat Shawn Michaels and Triple H in a triple threat 2 pay-per-views in a row, is he? But he did in his hometown. Pretty great moment for him. Like, I remember at the time thinking, I don't know, man. Shawn Michaels and Triple H, like, are they really going to have them lose to Benoit 2 pay-per-views in a row? I thought, they were maybe going to do something underhanded and take it away from him, but they didn't, and the match was tremendous. Shawn Michaels and Triple H did a lot back then to put Chris Benoit over and make him into a top draw, top main event star. Unfortunately, didn't seem to stick, right?
Well, in this match, what really stood out is you had like the ref go down, and then you had Shawn put Benoit in the sharpshooter, and then Earl Hebner came out, and everyone thought Earl Hebner was going to screw over Benoit. It was a very good swerve with that. And then to have it in the end, Benoit got Michaels to tap out in the sharpshooter. Fantastic ending.
Yeah, in Edmonton, which is not too far from Calgary, Alberta, so that was pretty cool. That was your number, what, 5? 4? 6? Where are we?
That was number 5.
Okay.
We're in the final 4 now.
Here we go. Let's go. What do you got?
So 4, to me, this was even better than WrestleMania 16, WrestleMania 2000, Rock Triple H, Backlash 2000. To me, this should have been the main event for WrestleMania. If you heard the reaction when Austin came out during this match, it's insane. And the match is pretty solid, too. It's a good Rock Triple H match. It's just, I think at the time, it'd been done too much, so they couldn't sell a singles, I guess, at WrestleMania. But this worked. It just goes to show you that Rock Triple H, although it was overdone, it's what people wanted to see at the time.
Yeah, it was definitely a big match, and it was one of the matches that I thought about putting on my top 10, but I did not, because I don't know, man, without the crowd react, like the crowd was into it, but if you really watch that match, it's a lot of like Vince and Shane is the referee, and then Austin shows up to screw Triple H over and help Rock win. It was like this, Linda McMahon is involved. It was just too much for me. It's not my
it is a lot. It
great
is.
match, It was a little, I didn't feel like it was a great wrestling match. Like, for the time, yes, that's the main event. That's money. That's, at the time, it's awesome. Looking back, it's kind of like, it's kind of a circus, It's not like, wow, what great action in the ring,
Well, for me, I just look at it where it's like, this is what WrestleMania should have been. This was better than WrestleMania. So for me, that's why it ranks so high, where it's like, this was WrestleMania quality right here, because this is what we should have had at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I made my list more of as far as in-ring matches and that type of thing, but that's okay. I like your list as well, Johnny North. Definitely taking us back down memory lane with The Rock and Triple H and all that stuff. I watched that match this morning, actually, preparing for that. It was fun. I liked it, but I didn't think it was top 10 all-time Backlash match. That was your number 4. We're down to the top 3. What do you got?
So it was hard when it got to these ones where I'm like, God, this could easily be number 1 as well. But number 3, I had Austin versus Rock, Backlash 99, no-holds-barred match for the WWE title. For many, this is arguably the best Austin versus Rock match. And it's hard to really disagree. I know WrestleMania 17 is really good too, but this was really good as well because they could pretty much do anything in this match, and they pretty much did.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome match. I don't have it on my top 10 list, but it was on the bubble for sure. It would probably be up there for me. Austin and Rock had great chemistry. Anytime they went in there, it was awesome. But I don't know, man. Their wrestling styles is not my favorite wrestling style. Like, they both worked kind of a brawler style. If I had to describe what I like in pro wrestling, I like what used to be called a technical wrestler. I don't know if they still call guys technical wrestlers anymore. Remember when guys
Daniel Bryan's a technical wrestler.
Yeah, he's a technical wrestler, but like no one calls him that. Remember on commentary they used to call certain guys, like Bret Hart is the best technical wrestler in the WWF, Ric Flair would be
Right.
like, I'm the best technical wrestler in the world. You know, like guys would claim to be technical wrestlers, and I think that that's my favorite style, and I wouldn't call Austin or Rock technical wrestlers. I think they're very good wrestlers, two of the greatest of all time, without a doubt, right? But they're not my favorite style of wrestler. I like technical wrestlers. The only guy today who I ever hear say technical wrestler is Zack Sabre Jr. He's still like old school, and he is probably the best technical wrestler in the world today, right? Zack Sabre Jr.? ZSJ.
Well, Regal is not, he still wrestles somewhat. I mean, he's not completely retired. He could wrestle.
I think even Regal would say that Zack has surpassed him as far as the flow and the chain and what he can do in the ring. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the greatest technical wrestlers I've ever seen. Unbelievable. It's just a shame that he doesn't have too many guys that he can go and do that with. But when you see him wrestle a guy like Sonata, I mean, it's artistry. It's beautiful wrestling, old school.
Oh, is he going to be in the tournament coming up soon?
I don't know. The New Japan Cup is starting. We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about New Japan and what's going on there. But, of course, Zack lives in England. I don't know if he's going to be able to make the trip over to Japan for the tournament. I don't think he is. I know Will Ospreay is not, which is quite disappointing. So your number 3 was Austin and Rock. My number 1 has not been mentioned yet, and I'm wondering if we have the same number 1 once again. I'm really wondering because I feel like you're going to put this on your list. It's either going to be 2 or 1. Let's hear what your number 2 is, and then I will tell you what your number 1 match is.
Well, 2 was actually kind of hard because I remembered this match, but it was kind of hazy a bit, so I actually had to rewatch it. And then when I saw it again, I was like, yeah, this could be easily number 1 right now. But number 1 was hard to beat. So this was number 2. Mankind against the Big Show, Boiler Room Brawl, Backlash 99.
Okay.
Insane brawl. Brawl. Mankind, Mick Foley, man, did he sacrificed his body for us, for our entertainment. It's crazy because, like, matches back then, they didn't have the safe kind of bumps that they do, like, now. Like, back then, like, Mick would just, like, destroy himself off hard ground. Wouldn't even care. Bleeding. One of the best moments, I think, in Backlash history is when Mick's leaving the Boiler Room. His hand's cut from glass, and he just puts his hand on the wall and just drags it on the wall, and you see that handprint go down. It's one of the best images ever in Backlash history.
It was a pretty crazy match. It didn't make my list, but it was a pretty crazy match. It's a brawl.
Thing is, it's a brawl. That's it. It's not. Yeah, I get it, but just the moments you had, and I fell for Mick the whole match because Big Show just beat the living crap out of him.
I got to go back and watch it. I'm sure I'd enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't a great match. I just I didn't put it on my list because I don't know. I didn't put it on my list. Now, number 1 match, Johnny North. I think I can predict it, but I'm not sure. Now,
well, take a guess. Take a stab.
Is it Randy Orton involved?
Yes.
Is he wrestling Cactus Jack in a hardcore match?
There you go.
There you go. Holy shit. That's my number 1 too. That's crazy.
It's hard to beat that.
Woo! Wow. Well, at least we agree. I mean, we don't have the same matches on our list. We have a couple of them, but we agree on the number 1 once again. That's nuts. Randy Orton beating Cactus Jack in a hardcore match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, April 18th, 2004, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The greatest match in Backlash history, according to Dave and Johnny Live. Wow.
I think a lot of people would agree with that, though, looking back on that match, because, I mean, even WWE acknowledges how great that match was.
It was incredible. One of the greatest matches, if not the greatest match in Randy Orton's career.
I kind of felt bad though going through this because I'm like, oh, I should maybe mention some like current history, like current stuff that's going on, like recent stuff.
Yeah.
But none of that made that compared to the matches I had. I'm like, this is not even close. Like no Cena, no Batista, not even AJ against Dean Ambrose. I know a lot of people like that match, but I'm like, I remember watching it with you. Like it was okay because AJ won, but that was about it.
Wow. I love that we picked the same number one. Randy and Cactus in the hardcore match. Fantastic match. That was when Randy was really starting the whole legend killer thing. That was the beginning of Randy Orton's ascent to the top of the WWE. And it's kind of crazy that we both gave Randy Orton, the greatest match in Backlash history, and he's got the greatest wrestling match ever coming up at Backlash against Edge on Sunday. I wonder if it tops his match with Cactus from 2004. Any chance? Any chance? I mean, his match with Cactus Jack is the greatest match in Backlash history. It's not the greatest match in wrestling history, but he's supposed to put on the greatest match in wrestling history on Sunday with Edge. We'll see.
I think it's a lot more difficult because they had an old bar kind of match, right? So they could do anything. And when you can do anything, then you can really blow up what you could possibly do in that ring. With the singles, just straight up, you have rules, you have countouts. Like it kind of holds you back in a sense. So I think it will be good for what it is, but say greatest of all time, it's tough. And a lot of these matches too back then, they had blood. Again, like the Boiler Room Brawl, it helped because it had blood. You don't have blood anymore.
Kyle Salisbury on the chat says, you love the same ball trimmer, you love the same matches, it all comes together. That's right. That's right, Johnny North. We are fully Manscaped. Do not forget to get your Manscaped 3.0. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. See that light? It's awesome. What an awesome trimmer. Get your Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, promo code ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping on your order. This is a fantastic product. They've got so much good stuff. Manscaped.com, promo code ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Now, Johnny North, let's get to my top 10 because mine is far different than yours, and I gave more respect to some of the stuff that happened after 2006, okay? So get ready.
I understand. I mean, for some people, yeah, they love John Cena, but compared to the matches I listed, like John Cena did not compare.
My number 10 match, we go back to April 29th, 2001 in Chicago. It's the two-man power trip. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H versus the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker. Hell yeah.
I had that as number 11, actually.
That's crazy. I have it as 10. Great match, right? And you go back, you look at the talent, 2001, all those guys in their prime, they were rocking. Killer match. Killer. Two-man power trip.
For me, it's just because like Hulkamania coming back, and you didn't think Hulkamania was ever going to come back. To me, that outweighed it a bit, but I could see your point as well because it was not too far behind.
My number 9, Chris Benoit beating Shawn Michaels and Triple H in a triple threat match to retain the World Heavyweight title, April 18th, 2004 in Edmonton. We talked about it. I have it as 9 on my list. Where'd you have it on yours?
I think it was 5.
Yeah, a little higher. At number 8, I have Edge versus Chris Benoit in a last man standing match, May 1st, 2005 in Manchester, New Hampshire. Fantastic match. I have it as 8. I think you had it at 7, right?
That's right, yeah.
Here's a match that you may have forgotten about, but I think was just great. For what it was fantastic. April 26, 2009, Providence, Rhode Island, Backlash. Le Champion, Chris Jericho versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. 1-on-1.
Yeah, it was good. But, again, to make the top 10, it just didn't make it. It was cool. It was a cool moment that they had that. But I rate the other ones higher, though.
It's just such a unique concept. It's like, oh, Ricky Steamboat is going to wrestle Chris Jericho. It's a special match that you never thought was going to happen. Jericho wrestled Steamboat Piper and was it Snuka at Mania?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? And Mickey Rourke was involved in that whole thing because the Wrestler movie had just come out. And then, it was clear that Piper and Snuka couldn't really go anymore, but Steamboat really could. And he could go so much that Chris Jericho demanded to have a one-on-one match with him at Backlash, which was kind of the, WrestleMania after pay-per-view. So, 3 weeks after they had that 3-on-1 match, Jericho beat Ricky Steamboat in 2009. And it was just a great match, man. And it's just something that it happened one time only. You'll never see it again. Two of the greatest wrestlers of all time meeting. It couldn't happen today. Steamboat couldn't do it now. But in 2009, it was the right time. Jericho could do it. Steamboat could do it. And it worked. Number 6.
It was definitely better than the WrestleMania match. That's for sure. That one-on-one was better than the handicap match for sure.
Yeah, that one-on-one match was awesome. Go back and watch Jericho Steamboat if you forgot about it. It was great from 2009 Backlash. I'm going to give you a 2008 match, Johnny North. I don't know why you're disrespecting this match. April 27th, 2008, Backlash in Baltimore, Maryland for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Undertaker beating the Rated R superstar Edge. Awesome match.
Yeah, it was good, but unfortunately with that, they had a lot of great matches.
Yeah, but this one was on Backlash, and it was great.
Unfortunately, I think it was probably the lowest one of all the great matches they had, unfortunately.
It was still pretty good for Backlash. I liked it, brother. Get ready to be upset because my number 5 match has Chris Jericho as a special referee. It happened April 27th, 2008 in Baltimore. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely rings a bell. Jericho's a referee. I want to say Shawn and Batista.
Yes. God, you're good, Johnny North. Shawn and Batista. Fantastic.
Again,
match.
We watched this together.
It was very good.
I wasn't a big fan of that.
You don't like Shawn or Batista, though.
I give Shawn his due in that triple threat match.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought it was very good. I thought Jericho was really good as the referee in that match. It was a fun little match. Number 4, I'm surprised you didn't put this on your list, John. I don't think you had it on your list at all. April 29th, 2001, a 30-minute ultimate submission match, Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. Did you see that match? I mean, that was crazy.
I did see that match, and I remember watching it live and being like, this was good for the first 10 minutes. And then afterwards, I got to the point where I'm like, this is way too long. Like, this should not be an Iron Man match. This is good doing this, like, trading falls or trading submissions, but 30 minutes and then we had a sudden death. Honestly, like, when it was over, I was like, thank God it's over. I don't care if it's a tie. I just thought it dragged way too long. It was good for the first little bit, but it was just way too long.
I'm surprised, Big Johnny. I'm surprised you didn't like that match. I thought it was amazing.
I love their WrestleMania 17 match, and the Royal Rumble match they had is probably one of the best matches in wrestling history. But not this match, unfortunately. This was a good idea, just the execution wasn't great.
I'm in my top 3 here, and you're going to be mad once again. April 26, 2009 in Providence, Edge over John Cena in a last man standing match for the World Heavyweight title. Edge and Cena had tremendous matches, and this was a really good one. Edge in his prime, Cena in his prime, killing it. And Edge won.
Again, I think we watched this together, if not mistaken. And I remember just saying, like, this isn't that great, but as long as Edge wins, I'm happy, and that's what happened. So, again, didn't make my 10th.
Well, you didn't put John Cena in any of the matches, right? You didn't put anything past 2006. I just
remember 2006.
Yeah.
A lot better.
My number 2 match in Backlash history. I went back and watched this thing and was blown away. And you didn't have it on your list. April 30th, 2000 in Washington, D.C. Chris Benoit over Chris Jericho by disqualification. A weird finish. Didn't like the finish for this for the Intercontinental title. But the match up until then was ridiculous. The pace that these guys put on each other Nuts, man. That match was so good. Benoit Jericho from Backlash 2000. You remember that one? 20 years ago?
Well, of course, I remember that match. I remember Benoit and Jericho had many matches during that, and that's really the big thing that hurt that match was that finish, terrible finish, when Jericho put the title up in Benoit's face, like blatantly. Like I just thought that looked really stupid. Thankfully, they came back and had even better matches, so that kind of killed that stupid finish. And that's really it. If that didn't have that stupid finish, that easily would have been in the top 5 for sure.
It was a really weird finish. Like, Benoit hit Jericho with the title, but then the referee thought that Jericho hit Benoit with the title, and then he disqualified him. It was really weird. Even JR on commentary was, like, really upset about it. But that match was so good, man. Those guys had crazy chemistry. And, of course, my number one match, Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack. I almost made him Nia Jax's father there, Cactus Jax. It was April 2004 in Edmonton. Tremendous match. It was our number one match. Johnny and I both came up independently with these lists, and we both made it our number one match in the history of Backlash. One thing that struck me is how many Chris Benoit matches I put on this thing. Benoit really had some great matches back then. Early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. I mean, Benoit, he looked crazy jacked on steroids. Just the neck and the traps and the back and everything. Just crazy jacked, man. Chris Benoit in the year 2000 was freakish, but my goodness, was he a good wrestler. Jeez.
Well, I even give Triple H his due because it's hard to deny Triple H in the Backlash history.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good matches.
A lot of good matches.
I think I had him the most.
You did, eh? Wow.
Well, Hogan, right? And I had him in the triple threat. I had him with The Rock. Yeah, I had him 3 times at least.
That was the real Triple H prime years, right? Late 90s, early 2000s. I had some other matches here that didn't quite make my list, but a lot of them involved Triple H. Rock Triple H, 2000. Hogan Triple H, 2002. John Cena versus Triple H and Edge, 2006. That was a good match.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Yeah, it's decent again.
John Cena versus Randy Orton, Edge, and Shawn Michaels, 2007. That was a good one in Atlanta. How about this one? Newark, New Jersey, May 2018. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton for the U.S. title. That's a really good match.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember that being pretty good, but again, like, I believe it was like early on in the card. Like it was good for the spot it was in for sure.
Yeah.
But again, like of all time, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, it was like a 12-minute match. Daniel Bryan, Big Cass, Backlash 2018. No? Didn't make your list?
I remember it was a very good match for Big Cass, in my opinion, when I saw that. But I'm like, in terms of like greatest again of all time, not even close.
Yeah. All right, well, Backlash is coming up this weekend. We will be live 7 p.m. on Sunday night for our Backlash watch-along. Do join us. We'll be watching Backlash here with you. We'll be back tomorrow morning on Wrestling Uncensored to preview Backlash. Backlash coming up this Sunday in Orlando from the Performance Center. Edge, Randy Orton, one-on-one. Drew McIntyre defending the WWE title against Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman defending the Universal title against Miz and Morrison. Asuka defending the Raw Women's title against Nia Jax. Jeff Hardy one-on-one with Sheamus. Bayley and Sasha defending the tag team titles against Alexa and Nikki Cross and the Iconics in a triple threat. And Apollo Crews defending the U.S. title against Andrade. That all coming up this Sunday for WWE Backlash. And once again, we'll preview it tomorrow on Wrestling Uncensored. And then we'll be back for Backlash to watch it with you Sunday night for the watch-along. Right?
Well, I'm not really looking forward much to Backlash. That's not a stellar card in my opinion, but it's fun watching it with each other at least.
That's it. When you compare it to the other Backlashes that we just talked about, this one not as good, right?
Well, I haven't liked Backlash since 2006 apparently, so yeah, of course. Like, not even close.
All right, Big Johnny. What did you think of NXT in your house?
I thought it started good, but then afterwards it was like, it was okay at best. I thought Finn Balor and Priest had the best match, and I thought the women's tag was okay to start, and I thought Keith Lee and Gargano, like, it had good moments, but it kind of dragged a bit. And Cross and Ciampa, like, it's good for what it was, but it was really just an elaborate squash. And I wasn't a big fan of that Cole and the Dream match, unfortunately.
No, me neither.
Like, I'm not big on the movie stuff, I guess. I don't know. Like, it didn't do it for me. And the main event,
I thought the main event was great. You didn't like that main event? I thought it was fantastic. I thought that was match of the night.
Again, good moments. I have a huge problem with the finish. Like, why have Charlotte there to be the champion if she's not going to put somebody over in the end, where she just got someone else stole the pin from her instead? I didn't like that. I just thought that was a very cheap way out to get Charlotte out of this without Charlotte losing. I thought that could have been done better.
Did Becky pin Ronda when she beat her at Mania, or did she pin Charlotte?
Yeah.
She pinned Ronda?
Ronda. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but Ronda went away, right? Charlotte, she's still around.
Yeah, but Ronda was undefeated.
Yeah. But she hasn't been seen since.
That meant everything.
Yeah, it made sense, though. But here with Charlotte, like, she's still around. She's still got to go to Raw and look strong and be the next opponent for Asuka, right?
It doesn't make her look weak by losing the NXT title, in my opinion, in a three-way.
She did lose it. She just didn't get pinned.
It would have been so much better if she got pinned. Like, why did she have to go in there and beat everybody when she can't even take a loss? She can't take the pinfall loss. I just think it's a little ridiculous.
I think down the road she'll give those losses back. It'll make sense down the road. I didn't have a problem with it. I was surprised that Charlotte lost. I didn't think she was going to lose this match at all. So the fact that she did, that was surprising to me. I think we both thought that she was going to walk out still champion, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I definitely didn't think she'd not win the title match. And Ripley, the last time we had seen her, she lost WrestleMania for her to lose again. I really did not see that coming whatsoever. And again, I just think it was just a bad choice of wait for that match to end. Like, Ripley taking another loss as well. Like, you're supposed to. She was one of the top stars. Like, she was going to be the next Becky, and now I don't see that.
Yeah, but to beat her, it was kind of a 2-on-1 situation where Charlotte had her in her finishing hold, the figure eight, and then Io Shirai had to do a moonsault on top of her and pin her that way. Her legs were all tied up. I thought the finish protected Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Rhea had to take a 2-on-1 finish, and Charlotte was stuck in her finishing move, and Io Shirai out of nowhere got a quick cover. I don't know, John. I didn't have a problem with this match at all. I thought it was totally fine, and I'm really happy with Io Shirai as a champion. I think she's fantastic. That dive that she did on top of the entranceway there, that was amazing.
Yeah, there were some good moments. Like, I won't take away from the match. Again, it was just a finish, the way it was executed. I think it could have been done better. I think Shirai's great as champion. I think it's great to put her as that, but I think she should have been Charlotte instead.
I don't know about that. The Adam Cole Velveteen Dream thing, the Backlash Brawl, another one of those cinematic matches. I don't know. I'm starting to suspect that Braun Strowman against Miz and Morrison is going to be some sort of cinematic thing. With the Fiend sprinkled in there.
I thought, like, you made mention Edge and Randy Orton, it'd be like a wrestling match, but cinematic.
Oh,
they make, like, kind of cool cuts and all that. Like, I could see that for sure.
Maybe
they've already filmed that match, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Greatest wrestling match ever is just like a movie wrestling match. It's not even a wrestling match. Imagine that. That's the ultimate swerve, right? We're going to have a straight-up wrestling match, except it's like a movie match. It's not a straight-up wrestling match at all. I could see them doing that. I really could. I was surprised that Tommaso Ciampa went down so quickly to Karrion Kross. An elaborate squash there in 6 minutes. They're putting Kross over really strong. New guy comes in, just destroys Tommaso Ciampa, who's been one of their top guys, former champion. Got very little offense in there. That was a surprising match.
Well, what's more surprising is now apparently they're going to have Cross against Adam Cole in the feud going forward. So I really didn't see that coming, but that's great though. Like if you're going to push a monster, make him a monster. Don't make him human. Make him human, then you kind of destroy him like the Fiend. So Cross, you can make into a huge star right away. So why not?
Is he going to be the next NXT champion? Based on what he did to Tommaso Ciampa, it's going to be pretty hard to have him lose to Adam Cole in any kind of way based on how strong he was over Ciampa, who's had competitive matches with Adam Cole, right? Wouldn't really make sense.
Right, and well, it's not official yet that's going to happen, Cross against Cole. It just seems like we're going down that road. So how we get down that road is going to be a huge question. Like, I could see it not being a one-on-one match. Maybe it'll be a multi-man kind of match. But I could see Cross possibly winning the championship.
All right, John, I need to ask you a question, a very important question. Who is working who? And who...
In terms of what?
Okay. Randy Orton and Tommaso Ciampa. Did you see this?
I vaguely heard something about this.
Okay. I'll show you what happened. Here's Randy Orton. I
Someone
guess
pooped.
the day
or
after.
Popped, sorry.
Popped. No, that's Will Ospreay. He popped. He thinks it's funny. He thinks what Randy's saying is funny. So Randy Orton goes, I heard WWE NXT TakeOver in your house was great. Slapping my leg for you guys. Sincerely, hashtag leg slap. Now, I think he's...
Yeah, leg slaps suck.
Leg slaps... Explain to us what a leg slap is, Johnny North.
Well, pretty much when you hear that little, slap kind of sound right before a kick, that's the little leg slap because they slapped their leg. Shawn Michaels was notorious for doing that. So now a lot of people in NXT do that because Shawn Michaels is the head trainer. But I think a lot of people were doing that actually before Shawn Michaels, just to see it more now. But people were doing it on the indies like crazy. AEW does it a lot.
Of course. The Young Bucks, right? So Randy Orton says he heard NXT TakeOver was great. He didn't watch it, right? He's saying he didn't watch it because Randy Orton's whole gimmick right now is he doesn't care and he's just like, whatever, forget it, I don't care.
Right.
And he's also making fun of the NXT guys saying, they slap their legs a lot. Now, here's Tommaso Ciampa's reply. My daughter has been having trouble sleeping. Luckily, I found a remedy. Randy Orton matches better than NyQuil. Sincerely, hashtag an entire locker room who busted their asses. So Ciampa
NyQuil's
here...
great, actually.
I've never had NyQuil. So Ciampa here saying, Randy Orton matches are boring and they're a great sleep aid in response to Randy Orton mocking the NXT TakeOver. Now, is Ciampa working an angle with Randy, or is Ciampa getting worked by Randy's work tweet, or is Randy even working, or is he just saying what he really feels? Because the Randy Orton character and Randy Orton the real guy, the lines are being blurred on TV, And the lines are blurred here on Twitter. So who's working who? Is Randy working with the initial tweet? Is Ciampa working with the reply? Did Ciampa get worked by Randy? What's happening here? And it continues. Randy replied, looks like I hurt the feelings of the self-appointed locker room leader of a wrestling school. Let me know what time hashtag leg slap class starts so I can take my game to the next level. Ouch. Johnny North, your thoughts?
Well, I think Randy's just, saying what he feels. That's about it, and so is Ciampa. And I don't think there's a problem with that whatsoever. It's just maybe WWE management might have a problem with it because it looks like they're starting a feud when there's not actually going to be a feud on television. So people might take that the wrong way, but I have no problem with Randy expressing how he feels about it. Like, he doesn't like the idea of leg slaps. I think a lot of people don't like the idea of leg slaps in wrestling. I think it's overdone. That's the main problem with it.
Do you think Ciampa's really mad?
I think he's just defending himself because someone took a shot at him, and he's just firing back. That's it. I don't know if he's really mad, but if someone says something, he's gonna talk back. I've met him before. Yeah, he's not someone who's just gonna take a comment and let it slide.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
gonna tell you to your face how you feel or how he feels.
You sound like you witnessed something.
Well, no, actually, just I remember I was in Maine. He was in Maine. We were on a show together, and like someone came up to him and asked him like what he thought of the match, and he was just blunt about it. Like this was good, this was good, this sucked, this sucked, this sucked. He's just honest. That's it.
Cool. Look at you, Johnny North. You've wrestled with everybody. You've been around. You've seen it all. You've done it all. And we have said it all. Go follow Johnny North on Twitter at North Genesis. Follow him on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. He's got daily emo Instagram stories.
That's incorrect. What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. Every Instagram story you have is like sad music and like, I wish things were, I could, No? Is that an inaccurate depiction of your Instagram stories? They all seem sad. Every time I see your Instagram story, I'm like, I hope Johnny's okay.
I'm fine, thanks.
All right,
maybe
good.
the music can be sad. Some music is sad. Some of your music is very sad too, by the way. But
what?
That's fine, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tupac. Tupac was very sad as well. Like
I don't listen.
You're okay listening to Tupac.
I don't listen to Tupac. I never listen to Tupac. Very, very rarely do I listen to Tupac. I don't know why you want to say, "Oh, Tupac." You think of a rapper, you just think Tupac?
I just thought you listened to Tupac. I've used Tupac, I believe, on my Instagram stories, so I'm just saying.
I'm more of a
if you don't
Biggie
listen
guy.
to Tupac.
I like Biggie way more. Jay-Z.
Biggie is kind of dark too.
Yeah, for sure. Some of his lyrics are a little bit roughsky.
Really rough, actually. He talks about wanting to kill himself.
Oh yeah,
he kind of like foretold his death in a sense. Like, yeah, it's very like dark.
Yeah, the Biggie story is super dark. Let's not do it. I don't want to talk about Biggie right now. It's too sad, man. Too sad. Rest in peace, Biggie. They still never found Biggie Smalls' murderer. Remember when we did a Dave and Johnny live on that?
But they found Tupac's murderer, though.
No, they didn't. No one's been arrested.
Well, they're pretty sure they know who did it, though. According to that doc.
Yeah, according to a documentary, but they didn't do anything about it, so who cares? Who cares? All right, shout out to people on the chat. John Sweenmack, Fight League Atlantic out in Nova Scotia. They say Dave Simon is the man. I agree with you guys 100%. Shout out to Nova Scotia. I think those guys are in Pictou County. Shout out to Pictou County. Shout out to Pictou, Nova Scotia. Shout out to New Glasgow. I really hope that I can make my way to Nova Scotia this summer. I like to go to Nova Scotia every summer and spend like 3 weeks to a month there at least in the Pictou County area. Hopefully I'll be able to get there this summer. I don't know. It's not looking good right now, but I don't think Nova Scotia's allowing.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't think they're allowing people from outside into the province, especially people from Montreal, you know, the epicenter of coronavirus in all of Canada. If I were Pictou County, I wouldn't want me there. But I'm corona-free, as far as I know. Some people are asymptomatic, so I guess I might not be, right? That's the weird thing about this thing. Pandemic over, John? Are we done?
I would say not here, unfortunately. Maybe Nova Scotia's pretty good, but not here, unfortunately. Maybe come August it'll be better, but I'm not going back to full-time work until October. So, yeah, this is going to be a very long time, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
And the metro system, too, like, yeek. Like, it's okay now because it's not too packed. But come, like, September, I think it's going to be crazy. So I could easily see another wave of this, unfortunately.
I'll tell you, I hope that it calms down. I think it's starting to calm down. I'm not really sure. I'm seeing my buddies there, Fight League Atlantic. They say, please do, brother, come to Nova Scotia. Lunch at the Lodge. Pictou Lodge. Great spot for lunch. Although, I'll tell you, my favorite restaurant in Pictou County, if you're going to go to Pictou, Nova Scotia, and you want to go to a killer restaurant, Piper's Landing is, now, pardon me when I say this, fucking good. All right? This is a free plug for a tremendous restaurant that I went to last summer in Pictou, and like, holy shit, it was good. They have like lobster stuffed mushroom caps. Jeez, brother.
Wow.
Killer. My goodness. If you're in the Pictou County area, my recommendation is this place. Free plug for these guys, all right? Free plug. Piper's Landing. Piper's Landing. Getting the plug on Dave and Johnny Live. Hopefully they hook me up with some, maybe a deal next time I go to the restaurant. Next time I'm in Pictou, all right? You just got a free plug on Dave and Johnny Live, Piper's Landing. You're welcome. And I don't know if you guys out there, Fight League Atlantic, have been to Piper's Landing, but I'm sure you have. Holy shit, is it good. My God. I went there last summer. I loved it. I can't wait to go back to Pictou, and I'm going to go to Piper's Landing. Every time I go to Pictou now, I'm going to have to make a stop there. Tremendous food. Tremendous.
Is it even open now, though?
I don't know. Oh, my man says, anytime need some fresh lobster, let me know. We'll get it sent. You guys are going to send me fresh lobster? Yeah, I need fresh lobster now.
Wow.
I need fresh lobster, for sure. I made lobster rolls last night. Had to buy lobster from the grocery store. Are you guys telling me you got a lobster hookup out in Nova Scotia? You can send me lobster? Lobster is my favorite thing to eat. If I could eat lobster every day, I would.
I like steak more, but lobster's okay too.
Lobster is great. I like lobster more than steak. More than anything. More than anything. More than pizza. More than burgers. If you said pizza or lobster for the rest of your life, you don't get to have any, no more pizza or no more lobster. I'm taking lobster all day, man. Lobster is my favorite food ever. So if you guys, for real, hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, Dave Simon MMA. If you guys have a lobster hookup and you can send me Nova Scotian lobster, oh my goodness. That would be the best day of my life. You kidding me? Lobsters sent to me? That would be the best.
So I'm
that
guessing,
would be the best.
I'm guessing you never had lobster pizza then, right?
I think I have. I had lobster rolls last night for dinner. Oh, they were good. Killed it. I'm really good at ripping open a lobster, cracking open a lobster. I do it very quickly, very efficiently. I've got a lot of practice. All right, that's lobster talk for you. Thanks, everybody, for lobster talk. We love you. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you big time. Check us out.
Wait a second.
Online, ringsidereport.net. What?
You forgot New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan starts next week. I didn't forget. How could I forget? New Japan starts next week. The New Japan Cup is going to start next week. We'll talk about it when it starts happening. But New Japan, let me see their schedule.
Next week, yeah.
Monday, the Together special. It's going to be in Japanese only. It's going to air Monday. Let's see who's wrestling on this thing. Oh,
no fans.
Unknown. The card has not been announced. No fans, but they're going to do a third capacity, 1/3 capacity starting in mid-July. So for the New Japan Cup final, that'll be the first night where they have fans. So they'll have a third of the fans allowed in, and then the next night after the New Japan Cup final, I think is going to be Dominion, and that's going to be in mid-July. So they will start having fans in July, but the New Japan Cup will kick off on Tuesday, and then we'll be fully in the mix of the New Japan Cup. I'd like a bracket, but they don't put out a bracket. New Japan Cup bracket.
All this came out very recently, so I'm guessing they're just trying to put it all together. Who can make this actually?
Oh, here we go. Here's a bracket. I'll give you my my picks, Johnny North. How about that? So here, let's start with the left side of the bracket. Togi Makabe versus Yota Tsuji. I'm going to go with Makabe for the win. I don't really know Tsuji. I think he's probably one of the young boys, so I'm going to go with Makabe with the donkey punch. Tomohiro Ishii against El Desperado. I've got Ishii. So then you've got Makabe and Ishii. I'll go with, that's going to be a killer match. That makes sense. Makabe and Ishii locking horns on the 24th of June. It's going to be kick-ass. I think Makabe probably wins that. Toru Yano versus Jado. I'm going to go with Yano for the win. Tomoaki Hanma versus Hiromu Takahashi. Ooh, that's cool. Hanma and Takahashi. I'm going to go with Hiromu. How could I not go with Hiromu? I'm rocking my Hiromu t-shirt right now. Check out this sweet Hiromu shirt. Time bomb. Ticking time bomb. Hiromu Takahashi. Then you've got Okada versus Gato. Uh-oh, Gato's in trouble. Obviously, the Rainmaker wins that one. Yuji Nagata versus Minoru Suzuki. Fuck yeah. Give me Suzuki in that one. And then we set up on the 24th of June, Suzuki versus Okada. Yes! 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 Fuck yeah! Fucking 2 weeks away. My son's birthday, the 24th of June. Saint-Jean. Suzuki versus Okada. Yeah! There's nothing I want more.
Don't get your hopes up.
That. What?
Don't get your hopes up too. You don't. It's not confirmed yet. So don't get your hopes too high.
You think Gato's gonna beat Okada? You think Yuji Nagata's gonna beat Suzuki? I don't think so, brother. It's not happening. I know New Japan. I know how they book. I know how they book.
I can see Nagata winning, actually.
No, Nagata's like too old. It's not happening. He's one of the old guys now. Yuya Uemura taking on
Suzuki's 50.
Yeah, but he's like still part of the real scene in New Japan. It's hard to explain, but Nagata, he wrestles those opening matches with like Tiger Mask and the Young Boys, you know, the Young Lions. Nagata's not in it anymore. Suzuki still wrestles like the main guy. Like he wrestled Jon Moxley, you know? Yuji Nagata's not wrestling Jon Moxley. Yuji's in the opening matches. He's not winning this thing, okay? Suzuki's winning. Don't ruin my fun, Johnny North. Yuya Uemura taking on Yoshinobu Kanemaru easily. Gabriel Kidd, I've never heard of this guy. He takes on Taiji Ishimori. Got to go with the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori. So then we've got Kanemaru versus Ishimori. I'm going to go with Ishimori. And then Okada, Suzuki. I'm going to go with Okada. Oh, shit. That would mean that Okada would wrestle Taiji Ishimori on the 2nd of July, which would be sick. And then I've got Okada beating him because Okada. So Okada going to the semifinals to take on, let's see here in the other bracket, I've got Makabe versus Ishii on the 24th. I've got Makabe winning, going over to the 2nd of July to take on, let's see here, Hiromu over Hanma, Yano. I'm going to go with Hiromu over Yano. So I got Hiromu versus Makabe. That's cool. I'm going to go with Hiromu. And then we see a semifinal over here of Hiromu versus Okada. Here it comes again, Johnny North. Yeah! Give me that shit. That's going to be awesome. Are you kidding me or what? Hiromu Okada in the semifinals of the New Japan Cup? That would be sick. Yeah! Give me that. Holy shit, I'm excited about the return of New Japan. Finally. Don't ruin my fun, John. What are you going to say? It's not going to be that. It's going to be something else.
Well, I'm like, that's only one side of the bracket, though. You still have the second side of the bracket.
That's a semifinal. I know. Imagine how great the second side's going to be. Let's see the right side of the bracket. So I have Okada and Hiromu in the semifinals on one side, and I'm going to go with Okada winning because Okada, he's the greatest. So Okada in the finals of the New Japan Cup. Let's see the right side of the bracket. Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Taichi on the 22nd of June. I've got Tanahashi easily there. Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Holy shit, they're opening it up strong. I'm going to go with... Ooh. That's tough. That's tough. But I'm going to go with Zack Sabre Jr. over Ibushi. I feel like every time they wrestle, Zack Sabre gets the advantage. So I'm going to go with Zack Sabre Jr. over Kota Ibushi. And then he takes on Tanahashi on the 1st of July and beats him again. And then he moves on to the quarterfinals. Zack Sabre Jr. out of this area. Then I've got Ryusuke Taguchi taking on Sanada. Sanada's going to win there. Sho taking on Shingo Takagi. Shingo Takagi is going to win there. Ooh, sets up a Los Ingobernables duel. Sonata versus Takagi. I'm going to go with Takagi to win. And he'll move on and take on Zack Sabre Jr. Whew. And I think Takagi will beat Zack Sabre Jr. Then we've got Hiroyoshi Tenzan taking on Yoshihashi. I'm going to go with Hashi for the win. Yo versus Bushi. I think Yo wins. And I think Yo also beats Yoshihashi. And then we have Kojima versus Evil. I'm going to go with Evil. Goto versus Yujiro. I'm going to go with Goto. Then we'll have Goto versus Evil. I'm going to go with Goto for the win. And then we'll go with Goto versus Yo in the quarterfinals. I'm going to go with Hiroki Goto to beat Yo. And then Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. would be the semifinals on the other side. And I'm going to go with Zack Sabre Jr. to win, which means my finals of the New Japan Cup will be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kazuchika Okada on the 11th of July at Osaka-jo Hall with 1/3 capacity of fans in attendance in Osaka, Japan. Johnny North, you don't follow New Japan as closely as I do. What did you think about my picks? You want to pick differently? Do you want to do picks? You don't really know everybody.
Well, I think Okada's pretty good. Zack Sabre Jr., I think he might do okay, but I don't know all the way to the finals, though. That's huge, though. Like, I could see, like, Tanahashi making it all the way as well, so it's tough. That second side is really tough. Kota could go all the way, too.
Yeah, Ibushi could go all the way if he beats Zack Sabre Jr. That's a big match in the opening round on the 22nd of June. That's coming up a week from Monday. So awesome. This tournament starts on Tuesday, on the 16th. Tuesday, Togi Makabe, Yota Tsuji, Tomohiro Ishii, El Desperado, Toru Yano, and Jado, and Tomoaki Hanma versus Hiromu Takahashi. Yes! That's Tuesday. Wednesday, Okada's back in action. We get to watch Okada wrestle against Gato on Wednesday. Yuji Nagata against Minoru Suzuki on Wednesday. Uemura against Kanemaru. And Gabriel Kidd against Ishimori. All that taking place Tuesday and Wednesday. Then they take a little bit of a break. Following week, they're back in it. Tremendous. New Japan Cup, New Japan Pro Wrestling is back in our lives. And I'm getting a lot of people on Twitter very excited about that. Everybody's hyped about the return of the New Japan Cup. And you can tell I am, right? You don't see me react like that for any WWE matchups coming up, right? Can't remember the last time I was this excited for a wrestling match. Thank you, New Japan.
Not for much of anything these days, actually.
Welcome back, New Japan. You're the best thing going. I love it. New Japan World. Go get it. It's awesome. All right, Johnny, that's it. We've done a show that's been longer than I ever expected. You told me, hey, what about New Japan? I was like, oh, yeah. Then we did an extra half hour on New Japan. So we're going to wrap things up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We love you big time. And we will be back, of course, tomorrow, 11 a.m. for Wrestling Uncensored. And then Sunday, 7 p.m. for the Backlash. Watch along. For Johnny North, I'm Dave Simon. This has been David Johnny Live. Bye. Say bye, John.
So long, suckers.
Suckers?